the impact is actually about the impact on their business models. We're finding that service providers really need to understand what cloud means from a business perspective. One of the things that it does is shift the way companies buy technology from an upfront on-premises capital expenditure item to pay as you go. Now, think about the cash flow and the profitability perspectives consistent with that sort of model. So it's very challenging from a business model perspective. It's not that the opportunities in the future from a market point of view are not there, but it does have implications from a business model perspective and like most business model changes, Indian service providers have to think about now what those changes will be and how they will react to them, because changing a business model takes time. It's often much harder than simply introducing a new product. So it impacts how you sell, how you compensate sales, how you recognise revenue. So one of the implications that we see is that it favours organisations that have access to capital. And so we might address it a little bit later, but one of the challenges is, well, where does that leave mid-sized players? Who owns the cloud? And cloud, to some extent, is a function of capital. They're probably ahead of the real demand for it, certainly from a local Indian perspective. When we look at our CIO research, which we do globally, cloud is typically number 2 of the technology priorities for them. The challenge for most enterprises is how to move to cloud. Where do I start? How fast do I go? What level of risk am I willing to assume as I move from an entirely private environment where I own and host my applications to one? Which applications do I start putting on the cloud? How do I move down that journey? So IT providers locally here in India are thinking about the opportunity and what it presents to them. What I haven't seen so far is a very clear strategy of how they move their customers through that journey. And so there's an opportunity and a need on the part of Indian service providers to really map out the journey to a full cloud that they want to take their customers through, and which parts of that they want to own directly and which parts of that they need to partner with or acquire other companies to do that. It's going to be much slower, I think our feeling is, in small to medium-sized companies. It will partly depend on elements of fashion, because at the end of the day the IT industry is a fashion industry in the same way that everyone else is.